guy.
All
You
right.
must enjoy yourself.
That's right. Welcome to Free Hands Academy, Free Hands Friday, number 20. We have on as our special host today. Actually, we have a whole host of Chapmans today. We have both Emmett and Dan Chapman on the line with us, and very shortly we will be joined by Jim Reilly. So this is kind of a surprise. Hopefully he'll like it, right? So we've
you never know with surprises.
Right. Some people don't like surprises. So joining us also is Dale and Russell and Joel, and so probably in just a few moments Jim will be joining us. Jim, let's see. Dan, do you want to tell us about a little bit about Jim while we're waiting for him?
Yeah, sure. Oh, yeah, we're on, aren't we? Well, Jim asked me to come up to Calgary, where he lives, and do a lecture to various high schools about visual literacy. And it was quite an honor. I went up there and spent about a week with him and his lovely wife, Lori, and their two kids, and it was really a pleasant surprise. And recently, he's been honored to have gotten a new gig as a vice principal of a school up in Calgary. So he's very much into academia, and his wife as well. I think they both are teachers up there. And he introduced me to a whole bunch of teachers who are just wonderful, lovely people who very much respect Jim. And Jim was an inspiration to me early on to go about my documentary about Emmett when I found out that he was writing a biography about Emmett, which is something he's pursuing very actively, and he's right here. Here he is.
Am I in?
Hi, Jim.
Hi, Hi, everyone. Hold on, I'm going to put in my headphones here.
This is the man of the hour,
There you are.
Mr. Jim Reilly.
Okay. Jim, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Guess who's the host today?
Well, it looks like Dale's sitting there.
No. Guess again.
I also see Emmett sitting there. Yeah, I see the man himself.
Surprise.
Which is exciting.
All right.
Although it's going to be a little odd. Emmett, I'm used to asking you the questions, Emmett. I'm not sure if it's going to work if we flip it around in reverse.
Well, I think you caught on quick. I'm interviewing you today.
That's excellent.
Tables around, or Gene did that. He turned the tables around on both of us.
That's excellent.
Yeah. So, I'm your interviewer, and you're the featured guest.
Nice. Are you're going to go easy on me though, because I've gone so easy on you for the last few years, correct? So.
What? I thought we'd talk in broad generalities.
Okay, good. Broad sweeping strokes.
Yeah, like we all. Yeah.
Good.
Different strokes for different folks.
Very good.
Oh, good seeing your image there on my screen, Jim.
Yeah, you as well.
Yeah. And is Diana coming online too? Is she going to be part of this?
I hadn't asked her, but I think it would be good. I had kind of blocked out the 10th of August for her to see if we could have her do something on yoga for stickists. We'll see if that'll happen. Oh, good. Thomas is joining it. Okay, good. We have more people in the forum here. No, not today. She won't be joining us today, but perhaps for a future session, that would be a great topic. So today, Jim Reilly, Emmett Chapman. Emmett, the floor is it's all yours. Have at it.
All right.
You wanted to know about Jim Reilly, right?
Right. Well, Jim,
Yes,
you've been associated with stick for many years. I think about 20 years. I
that
was
is correct.
looking back on my database, and you bought an instrument. I think it was in 1993, and it was an oak stick.
Correct.
And then you traded it in for a graphite stick when I first had the graphites.
Hmm.
And then you also bought the Base Lab stick. I forget which color you got. Maybe it was silver. Or
I
no,
got the
no,
blue.
blue with black on the
That's
back.
it. Yep.
I remember that, yeah. And since then you've had other sticks. And all together, how many have you had, just roughly? Do you remember?
Four altogether. There was an ironwood one that I bought from like a private sale mixed in there as well. So just the four.
And how many do you have now?
Just one. I just have the Base Lab at the moment.
Oh, okay. Well, I played a Bass Lab at NAMM shows sometime around 2005, if I remember right.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, I think it was 2005. I was at that show. There's actually a picture in Bass Player magazine of you and I playing those two instruments. I think I was playing the silver one, and you were playing your blue one that you had.
I had the blue one, yeah. And I took that to Europe when Dan and I went to Aller in Bretagne.
Yes.
I took the blue one there. That was my favorite instrument at the time. It had a very rich sound.
Yeah, there was a bounce to those sticks. They just kind of, because they were hollow, right? So there was like a bounce to them. There was a very tactile feel and a very responsive feel, I remember, which I liked a lot.
The Bass Lab's owner, Heiko Höpfinger, in Germany, he always called it a proprietary material.
Hmm.
Never found out what it was, but I suspect it was silly putty. Because not only did your fingers spring off the frets, but the sound seemed to rebound that way too.
Yeah, it did. It really did. It really did.
I kind of miss that instrument.
Yeah, like I say, it's my only instrument, and I play it all the time. I really, really like it.
Well, what was the Bass Labs? Tell us a little bit about that.
It was a hollow monocoque, is that how it's pronounced? But it was completely, it was completely hollow, and was the same technology of an airplane fuselage. It was this one solid piece of whatever the material was, and it was completely hollow. That then had the cuts made for the frets, and all the pieces were attached onto it after that. If I remember correctly, though, it was tricky to make it work, and I know mine has a lot of like little additions, and on the truss rod there's an extra couple of little pieces to make it, to kind of give it enough tension to pull back on it. So I think they were pretty labor intensive, which is why I think they didn't, one of the reasons why they didn't go into permanent production.
That's right. The molding process was, I guess, they were difficult to pull out of the mold, and then there was more difficulty in machining in the rail grooves for the thread.
Right.
Did I have rails then? I'm trying to
Oh
remember.
yeah, for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So they were sometime uneven in height, and sometime uneven in spaces. So at that point, I gave up on it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
There's been those kind of aborted projects. The other one was with Verna with the stick amp.
Right.
Made by SR.
Yeah.
And I played through a couple of mine, but I never could get it off the ground. There were too many repairs that had to be done, and too long a distance to send them back to Italy.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So, Jim, you're on summer vacation now. You just started.
I am, although I am in at work today. I'm a teacher who's taken a day out of his summer holidays to come in and do some work, which I think qualifies me for sainthood.
That must be going around the staff, huh? So, does that mean you're on call all summer long?
No, not officially. There's just a few loose ends actually to get ready for next year. So I'm not officially on call, but you know I come in and help out where I can.
Are you you're not in Kamloops now teaching
No,
there?
I'm in Calgary, living in Calgary. I've been here for 8 years now.
And Calgary is a larger town. Kamloops is a smaller town.
It is. Calgary is just over 1 million, just 2.5 hours south of Dale, who's up in Edmonton.
Okay. And Kamloops, that's your hometown.
Not really, no. I grew up in a small town called Trail.
Oh, okay. I remember Trail from my days working at the Vancouver Sun. I
Yeah,
remember
so
weather reports from Trail. I remember.
yeah, Trail's a small little town in the middle of BC. And then I moved down to Vancouver when I was 19, like everybody else does. Spent a bit of time on Vancouver Island and then ended up in Kamloops. And I'm now here.
Okay. So, let's see. You've been playing the stick for almost 20 years, or maybe.
Over 20 years, yep. December 17th, 1993.
And I always had the impression that you were interested in the wide social aspects, the community aspects, the history of it, the sensation of playing it, and the community involved, and that when you played, you liked to improvise and to soothe your soul, I'd take it, and maybe anybody else's.
That's pretty fair. I've always been better at playing my own music than playing other people's music. It's always a challenge for me to try and learn other people's songs. But playing my own music has always been easy. Even when I was playing guitar before stick, that was what I just naturally did. So it was a natural extension of what I was trying to do on the guitar.
So when you do that, are you aware of what key you're playing in, what the chord changes are?
Yeah, sometimes. Sometimes I just let it go, though. You know, and I think there's freedom in that trusting that where my hands land is going to be something interesting. And if it's not interesting, then the skill becomes how do you make it interesting. You know, if you play a wrong note, play it again, and it's no longer a wrong note.
Right. Well, that's kind of like my favorite way of playing too. And I often talk about playing by shape and distance.
Yep.
Distance between the hands, distance between the fingers on either hand, especially on the left hand. For instance, to get a drummer started on the stick, I'll ask him to, instead of playing notes that are 1 fret apart, play them that are 2 frets apart or 3 frets apart, because you get more modally related notes that way. Then to move the other hand, the right hand, up either a minor third, 3 frets, a fourth, 5 frets, or fifth, 7 frets, and you'll get lucky. And so many drummers do that and play a real nice solo on it, right? And so and distances are important. And then you can forget about key, or even if where you are in relation to the inlays.
Sure. Yeah, I remember being at NAMM shows and having drummers pick up sticks and doing exactly that with them, and just playing rhythmically and finding notes, even 2 or 3 notes that work, and coming up with these great, you know, rhythms between the 2 hands and between the fingers, like a tabla player almost, and being incredibly expressive and melodic without even realizing technically what they were doing. Just playing off the rhythm of the instrument.
So when I've seen you play, I get this feeling that you're listening to yourself and enjoying it. And comfortable. You want to play for comfort.
Sure.
And if you had to play a song arrangement, well, then you'd have to be on the money to get to the thematic notes and the right chord.
That's good. Yeah, that's good. I've never thought about it like that, but I think that's hard to argue.
Yeah. So then I guess somewhere along the way a song arrangement is in order, right?
Yeah, well, there are some of those. There definitely are some